Recently I was watching, well, I think we've all watched this interview on The Breakfast Club by a guy called Glasses Malone. Glasses Malone is an MC from Compton, right? Or
Yep.
From the West Coast. And he's basically put out a new song called Tupac Must Die, which tells the story of Tupac's murder from the perspective of the murderer, the alleged one being Orlando Anderson. And that caused a little bit of controversy because obviously Tupac is revered in hip hop, and for someone to make a song about the way his killer killed him has touched people up the wrong way. So I guess what I wanted to know is, does hip hop need to leave Tupac alone? Do we need to let him rest in peace? Is it an obsession with Tupac bordering on just straight like fanatical that we just need to calm down? Because I feel like ever since Tupac died, it's been like, what, 22 years? It'll be 23 years next month.
R.I.P.
He's been R.I.P. He's been in our collective consciousness for so long. And obviously that speaks to the gravity and the impact that the man made in his lifetime. But even with stuff like he's not dead, he's in Cuba, or he's in this, that, or the other, like...
Big up Hassan Shakur.
Big up that as well. And Afeni as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to Afeni Shakur.
I feel like, me personally, I feel like we are obsessed with this guy, and we have a relationship with him that borders on sometimes disrespect, because we have such an obsession with him that we will try and do whatever it takes to try and keep his name in our memory. So I guess to open up to the floor, guys, do we think that hip hop is obsessed with Tupac?
Yes.
All right, next topic.
I mean, whenever you've got an artist that like makes as big of an impact as Tupac, man, there's always going to be an obsession there, man. And like, you know, I've always said I feel like he's probably one of the most impactful hip hop artists ever. I still believe he's the biggest hip hop artist ever. So it's not surprising that there's still an obsession with him.
What did you think of the Glasses Malone interview, or have you listened to
the
song?
interview? Was insightful. I've heard the song. I've watched the video. I think the biggest issue that people have with it is that it sounds as though he's glorifying the fact that Tupac was killed by a gang set that he comes from as well. Glasses Malone, I think he's a Crip.
He's a Crip.
So because he's speaking from that perspective as well, and I think also because the person that allegedly killed Tupac is from that same gang, it sounds as though Glasses Malone is, although because he's speaking about it from the guy's perspective that allegedly killed Tupac, it sounds as though he's kind of saying, yeah, he deserves it, which is what the biggest issue is. It's probably a little bit insensitive to, you know, the remaining members of Tupac's family that are still alive, and I think that's the biggest issue with it. But if we're looking at it from like a purely art standpoint, it's art, which is exactly what it is. It's storytelling at its finest. And I can appreciate that perspective because we haven't heard that thus far. I think everything that we've heard about Tupac dying has been from, you know, the perspective of those around him and from, you know, that of a fan. So, I mean, it's an interesting spin on it.
Did you want that perspective though?
No, I definitely wasn't asking for that perspective.
I'm saying, man.
But, you know, it's art, innit? And like, you know, we're all allowed to express things in an artful way in however we see fit. So he's well within his right to do that. I don't think I agree nor disagree with it. It's definitely brave though.
Is there not like a responsibility to respect the family of someone who has been murdered by not bringing up something that could potentially upset them?
I think it depends on who you are, man.
No, I don't think it does depend. I think as a humanity, yes, we do have a responsibility to be, you know, empathetic and considerate to the remaining family members of the person who has, you know, passed away. But with Tupac, it's completely different, man. Like whenever we speak about this guy's name, whether it's positive or negative, like you're not really going to be thinking about his family because he was such a big figure. So there's no way that you can, you know, always sit on the fence of positivity where Tupac is concerned, especially where, like, you know, he was controversial. So, you know, people liked him, some people didn't like him. So you're always going to have that. I think if you lived your life the way he did, you kind of like relinquish that right to only be spoken about in a positive way, whether you're alive or not.
I don't think it's always positive anyway, though. I think when people talk about Tupac, it probably does go more towards the positive, but there was a lot of negative stuff associated with it too. Because obviously the day he died, he jumped a guy and Glasses went on set as well. So that probably had something to do with it, allegedly. So obviously we know that he wasn't a saint, nor did he claim to be. But it's just a bit like where Glasses Malone, while I appreciate the fact that you're trying to do up art and all that stuff, it's just like, it's been so long. I don't necessarily think it was needed. If you had done it maybe like a decade later, maybe when the wound was still fresh, maybe. But the guy's been dead for so long. Like, why do we need this perspective?
Because for a bit of context, I don't know if you guys watch Vlad TV.
Fuck that nigga.
Keep that guy. Fuck him. Fuck everything he stands for. Fuck everything about him.
He actually does some really interesting interviews.
The bad outweigh the good.
When he's not trying to spin a story, but go.
The bad outweigh the good with him.
But just for context, though, he has been interviewing a lot of people connected to Tupac in a way, whether it be people from death row, whether it be the police officers that, you know, were dealing with the case. So he's been, you know, shining light on their story and trying to, I guess, find more about the Tupac story. And I think more recently, he interviewed the uncle of the alleged person that killed Tupac, who was also in the car that did the drive-by shooting. So I think that's where it has always been a bit of attention on this Tupac story, especially more recently, which is why Glasses Malone probably had the platform to do it, and why he felt like now would be the perfect time to do it as well. I don't think it's completely random. And there's been loads of like ex-death row employees coming out and doing interviews as well. So I think that's the context that's needed too. It's not completely random. I feel exactly what you're saying. I feel like it's been a fucking long time.
Yeah, I feel like people just pick up the Tupac story when they want, and then that will just then create a bunch of other stories for opportunities for people to talk about their side of the story and their perspective. It's just an endless cycle, which is why I'm asking the question: are we obsessed with Tupac? Because it's like, I'm not sure if we do this to the same degree with anybody with any other hip hop artists.
Nah, we don't.
And it's just like, bro, just let the man rest, innit?
Yeah, but we have to also understand the way Tupac and Biggie died, man. It wasn't straightforward, bro. Like,
But we're not
there was
obsessed like-
heavily conspiracy theories.
But you don't get this kind of obsession with Biggie.
Because Biggie wasn't as
Controversial?
as Tupac. Tupac was larger than life, man. Tupac was way bigger than Biggie.
I feel like it depends on who you are and how you go about it. When it comes to Tupac.
For me, Biggie was just a rapper. Tupac was way more than that. Tupac was an activist. You know, he had the...
A rapper's the least of what he done.
Yeah,
Rapping
man.
was
So
the least of what Tupac
it's
done.
way more complicated, man.
No.
And their deaths weren't straightforward.
I agree with you.
So that's why there's so much fascination and obsession, because there's always that speculation of, oh, was he really killed by a gang member? Was it the government? Like, there's always been that. And that's partly because of himself as well and the stuff that he preached about when he was alive. So with someone like Tupac, it's never going to be straightforward. There's always going to be that sort of fascination, obsession of or speculation of whether, what really happened. That's not going to die until we know what happened.
I guess, but when it becomes seemingly disrespectful, that's when it takes a different turn. It's more than okay to be intrigued by the whole thing, because it is very intriguing. Everyone has their own perspective on what happened and how it happened and why it happened. But when it starts to become disrespectful to him,
what if he really know what? Like, say if Glasses Malone really knows what happened, and he just wanted to put it out there, is it disrespectful? If he's sick and tired of everyone guessing of what happened, and he knows for a fact what really did happen with Tupac, like say right now, if you're my guy, and then you get jumped, because supposedly he was danced with one of the guys in the car. So say you're my guy and you get jumped by someone, and then whether it's Tupac or not, and then you go and kill him, and then you end up dying, but then everyone's spewing in another way. I really don't like you whether you're dead or not. Because these men are not, they're rolled. They're not thinking about it the way we look at stuff. Do you see what I'm saying? So Glasses Malone was probably on some, I don't even like Tupac anyway. I'm sick of all the glorification. So let me show you why in his mind he deserved to die. It's nasty to us, but that's maybe the way he's thinking about it. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't even think he's looking at I'm not probably even looking at glorification or anything. He's just like, I just want the truth to be out there, and you might take it whichever way you take it.
But has he ever said that he does know what happened?
Yeah,
people know what happened.
No, I'm talking about Glasses Malone though.
In the interview, he was like, "Yo, he was boys with the guy that was in the car with the guy that shot Pac."
I don't know about that.
I was saying in the interview was that he knew basically there was two guys in the car, and Glasses Malone was dogs with one of them.
I know they're from the same gang set. I don't know if they knew each other. I think Glasses Malone was just trying to tell the story.
Supposedly he was dogs with one of them. He knew some way of the guy in the car, whether it was like say I'm friends with Pete and Pete is friends with that guy. But somewhere or another,
Some sort of affiliation.
Some sort of affiliation.
Yeah.
But that rumor was always there. That Tupac rumor, I've always heard that because everyone's always seen the casino footage of him jumping someone.
Yeah.
That rumor's always been there. But the rumor was that Suge Knight planted or whatever. If he
That
did,
don't
then,
make any sense.
but if he exactly. But then that was always I always heard that. But going back to the question of the unhealthy obsession, I think it works both ways. I feel like as fans, it's an unhealthy obsession because we know the minute someone says Tupac, we're clicking on it.
Even the word fan, like fanatic, like there's an unhealthy.
Tupac has a lot of unhealthy fans.
Do you get me? There's an unhealthy, like, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for, but there's an unhealthy, like,
Correlation?
feeling that you have towards something if you're considered a fan. If it means fanatic, like, so that even that word in itself, like, is a bit mad in itself if you deep it. But sorry to cut you off. Yeah, of course, where there's an obsession with Tupac for sure.
100%.
Yeah, but it's an obsession that you see with Tupac. You don't necessarily see with everybody else.
people
And I
don't-
get it
It'll gauge a reaction.
because of the
In rap,
No, it will gauge,
In rap.
It will gauge a reaction. When Lil Pump comes out right now, says someone said that
Lil
one of these-
Xan.
one of these little
when
idiots
Lil Xan said Tupac
like,
was boring.
Yo, Tupac's boring. A song comes out like, yo, I'm a better rapper than Tupac. They know what they're doing. They could come out and say right now, I'm a better rapper than DMX. No one's gonna care. I'm a better rapper than. If you say Biggie or Tupac, Tupac's naturally, like you said, he's the biggest artist ever. He's gonna get that. Yo, you crazy? Like,
yeah.
he's gonna. People are always. That's always gonna be. It's always gonna be like that. Tupac is the be all and end all to certain people.
I suppose.
Do you see what I'm saying? People that ain't quote unquote hip hop heads, ask them who your favorite rapper is. 9 times out of 10 they'll say Tupac. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's got that fan base where if you're not a heavy hip hop fan, you're still a Tupac fan. And if you are a heavy hip hop fan, you're still a Tupac fan. Do you see what I'm saying? So he's got a certain base that not other rapper has. So they know it's going to be clickbait as well the minute they mention his name. Is that an unhealthy obsession? Maybe. But
I think it's healthy. I don't think
That's
it's,
why
I don't know if it's unhealthy. I don't think it's like,
but you need to let a man rest at some point.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like if we're talking outside of rap, like there are loads of people who had the same impact, the same influence, and all that stuff that I can name that probably don't get mentioned as much. Someone like a Che Guevara doesn't get mentioned as much, and he died in mysterious. Well, he didn't. He got killed by the government basically.
He got hit.
He got wow in
got head
the head. Fam, you see the pictures. Someone like a Leon Trotsky who got killed by Stalin when who sent a Soviet agent to
right now, boy. That's the history degree coming out right now.
100%, 100%.
I say Trotsky.
Trotsky. Why you adding more?
What's wrong
Why
with
you adding more letters to the name?
What's his name?
I hate when people say wrong
wrong
things
with
and add more
Mohammed,
letters to the
man?
name.
What's his name?
Trotsky,
Where's he from?
Russia.
All right.
So Stalin, the leader at the time, sent a Soviet agent to Mexico where Trotsky was living after he was banned from Russia, and the guy killed him with an ice pick.
Gratata.
Gratata.
And there's not a healthy obsession with them lot.
No.
But it's different with music. And it's different when you're black.
Tupac's he's a
It's
popular
yeah,
figure,
it's different when
man.
you're black. Like,
All these guys are
say-
popular figures.
No, but it's
Not
different.
like Tupac.
Like, say
bro.
Elvis at his
How
peak.
do you know?
You can go African, they'll know it's Puck.
I think more people know Tupac than Che Guevara, bro. And we know Che because we do our history, but Tupac, I think, transcended all of that. I don't know if you can compare. I get what you're trying to say, though.
I think Che Guevara.
I feel like when you get to a certain
think it's
level,
kinda hard to
I feel like when you
compare.
get to a certain level, they won't let you die. They're never going to let Michael Jackson rest in peace. Once you get to a certain level, Puck and Michael, to me, are the pinnacle of music, just in my mind anyway. I'm not saying they're the
You
best.
know what it is though? I think
Not
it's
Puck anyway, but like they're the pinnacle of, do you see what I'm saying? They're the biggest.
Pinnacle of
in
what?
music.
Celebrity?
Yeah, in music. Black celebrity.
I guess for me it's the constant.
Prince?
Is he on the level of Michael Jackson?
Prince?
I'm just asking a question.
Don't do that.
Let's not do this.
Don't
I'm just asking a question. I'm not saying he's better or anything. I'm saying just the worldwide fame. Is he on the level
Bro,
of Michael Jackson?
when
Just look at the funeral.
before our time, it was either Prince or MJ. These were the two people that you would like.
That's
you
the
would pick.
no. That's for music. I'm not
No,
arguing
no.
music.
Even
I'm saying
on a
celebrity-
general basis.
celebrity-
on a general-
celebrity Michael Jackson to me is on another
Bro,
level.
on a
that
general-
whole, you know that whole consensus of, yo, this person doesn't walk, they float.
Yeah.
That was first like aligned to
And I
Prince.
said that earlier.
Yeah, but
I'm
generally
saying
people are gonna go for Michael Jackson over Prince.
Michael Jackson's definitely the biggest celebrity than Prince. I'm not arguing.
But Prince
this
is
right now.
celebrity, like, let's
You
not.
know, I agree with you.
Okay. But back to
I'm just
Tupac.
saying- I'm just saying they're the pinnacle of music celebrities. So I feel like they're
Or Tupac and MJ.
Yeah, and I feel like they're never gonna rest, man.
But my thing is, maybe my issue is the constant hypothesizing about how this man died. Like, how many ways are we going to hypothesize how this man died?
Until we find out, we're always gonna do it.
We're never going to find out.
Then it's always gonna be rumored. There's gonna be a new documentary every year coming out. with how
No,
Tupac
people
died.
know, but it just won't be put out there.
No
in,
one
like,
knows
the
for a
mainstream.
fact.
Of course.
Media, yeah.
No one
Only,
knows
only a
for
few
And I
people.
think until that happens, until like there's like breaking news, you know, that we've got this new information that shows Tupac died this way. Until that happens,
Until-
then there's always going to be
Yeah,
speculation.
I mean, only a couple people know who killed JFK. and that's always going to be the case. 50 years later,
100%.
it's going to be the same.
There's going to be a
same
documentary every
Who
year.
killed him? Do you know who killed him?
thing. I think it was a mafia hit.
That's what I've heard too.
I think it was a mafia
You
hit.
love me for real?
Yeah.
We could talk about post pod.
You man know
Aye,
who
yeah,
shot JFK, fam.
Hey man, watch better documentaries, bro.
I know who shot Tupac. The guy got some Malones said that.
Yeah.
But Orlando?
Supposedly.
Yeah.
But I've heard that rumor. Not saying
same.
I know people, but I've always heard that rumor.
I've never thought it was like a government hit.
No, because
I always
I
thought
did.
it was-
For a
Nah.
long time.
No,
I
no,
did.
there's two things I always believed. When I was a kid, you couldn't tell me Suge Knight didn't play a part.
Wait,
I was more that
could
train.
not tell-
I
I
was
didn't
more that
understand
train.
that.
Because he looks like a fuckboy.
Yeah, but he was in the same car.
No, but then he was. Do you remember?
he got shot too.
That's my point. But then the thing was how much of a clean hit it was.
But he got shot too.
Yeah, but it was such a clean. He got shot once.
So
Anyway, back to this. I was a kid. You couldn't. I don't care about making
Alright,
sense.
cool.
Plus, you remember that everyone knew that rumor about Tupac was going to leave
Death Row.
Death
Yeah.
Row. After he was going to leave Death Row that month, like a couple of months later or something like that. So rather than letting him go, Suge was supposedly. And let's not act like Suge's not a murderer. We saw what he done to Eazy-E,
Allegedly.
allegedly. But let's not. No, he's in jail right now for attempted murder.
A hit and run, but we don't
Yeah.
know what he did to Easy though.
I'm just saying, let's not act like he's not a murderer because we saw what he done.
Oh
on
yeah,
camera.
we know. We
So
know.
and rumored allegedly what he done to Easy.
what
So that
easy.
we saw what he done with the needle.
Oh, you-
I'm on that train.
Oh, no.
Suge Knight looks like the devil to me, bro. He's evil.
Well,
I don't
let's just say-
care. He's
But to answer your question,
In
Yemi,
20
it's what Mo is saying is exactly why the obsession will remain. Speculation of not knowing the truth.
But do we need to leave Tupac alone?
depending on what situation is. If we're
When you say leave him alone, do you mean
It's probably in relation to the death. Because obviously the whole reason why we're talking about it is because of the whole Glasses Malone thing.
So
and he's
stop-
talking about the death.
so stop guessing how he died.
Maybe not in those words, but it's just like
Leave it alone.
we already know he's dead. There's a million hypotheses about why that's the case. It just gets a bit boring and gets a bit like we've done this.
I feel like if
we
you're
keep
not-
doing
I
this.
feel like if you're not praising him at this point in life,
Then leave him alone,
then leave him alone. If it's not for praising, don't. I've never heard someone talk about Biggie the way they talk about Tupac.
But
what I'm saying?
I love Tupac conversations though. Whether you've got a negative thing to say or
That's why it's
positive,
public. That's
I
why it's
love it,
public.
man. I love engaging about Tupac. So I don't necessarily feel like we should leave him alone. Maybe
In public, we should, because we can't argue with these guys.
but maybe the obsessing over how he died, we can leave that. Maybe just talk about his legacy, his music, his acting, his activism. Maybe just focus on that. But maybe
It just makes me think like, rest in peace, Nipsey. Are we going to be doing the same thing for Nipsey?
if we don't find out who killed Nipsey, then it's 100% going to happen.
I mean, we know who killed him. But
Yeah, but if like nobody gets found guilty or whatever, then we're never gonna know. Then we're never not gonna keep trying to figure out what happened. We're never not gonna talk about it.
I suppose it's obviously it's a different case, but at the same time, it's just like, we've been doing this and talking about his death for so long. And obviously it might not take too much away from his impact when he was here. But for me, it seems to be the only thing more time that I'm hearing about
I agree.
how he died rather than how he lived.
It
essentially.
works though, innit, for people, man. Glasses Malone would not be talked about right now if it wasn't for talking about Tupac's death.
I think we as a people, man, there's something about violence, there's something about death that we all like kind of like oogle over.
We love a conspiracy.
Yeah. I'm
It's
saying,
we
man.
love that you hit it, and we love
and,
a
and
conspiracy
because
theory.
of that, that's why we pay more attention to how Tupac died. And because it was such a violent death as well, there's always going to be like,
What happened?
this mystique and allure of, oh my God, like what really happened? Like it just adds this like mythical presence to his already like,
But why is it
his
not as
aura,
much?
you know
Why
what
is
I'm
it-
saying?
Just a quick question, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Why is the aura not the same with Biggie?
Because Biggie was, and no disrespect, but he was just a rapper. Tupac was a lot
Larger
more
than
than
life.
that. Yeah,
He was an
He was
activist.
a lot more than that.
It was an
You know what I'm
activist.
saying? And I think also because Tupac was always, and Biggie kind of did this too, but because Tupac was always talking about how he was going to die, always predicting his death, he had been shot already.
I guess I agree with you, Mo. I think we wouldn't be having a conversation about certain people if we knew for sure what happened to Tupac. So someone like a Glasses Malone, all the people that Vlad has interviewed and stuff like that, they wouldn't have screen time. They wouldn't have a platform to say these things if we knew, or if people stopped hypothesizing. So I guess the mystery around it is fascinating, and obviously we do love a conspiracy. I think a wild theory that I've just come up with, maybe I just think the reason why we as black people, especially as it relates to Tupac, have a conspiracies about how he died is because maybe we can't accept the fact that it was a black person that did it. In a sense. Because we blamed the government. Obviously, Suge Knight has been a thing, but Suge Knight is a very, very extreme example because he's a nutcase. So the fact that it was just a Crip rather than like something a little bit more grander.
You
know
think
what I
we
mean?
wanted to make it a movie?
Yeah. So something like a Crip just killing him it doesn't sound as sexy as Suge Knight had him killed.
It doesn't fit
was
the
a government
Tupac.
hit.
Yeah. The Tupac all around Tupac.
Exactly.
Too simplistic.
It's a bit like I compare it to Omar Little in The Wire, the way he went out.
Yeah,
The little kid.
It was, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was just like
You know
random.
what I mean?
That was the genius in
It
the
was
show.
just random. It was quick. It
Bruv.
was like,
But it was the genius.
that's
in the,
it?
It was the genius in the show, though, isn't it?
Bruv, I
Actually,
was
that's a
hurt.
great example, you know.
I was hurt.
That's actually a great
Yeah.
example. Because it's always...
Because I was waiting for more when that happened. I was like, that's it?
For real.
Like, is
Especially
anyone else
after-
going to jump out?
After
and
the
do
whole fact, after the whole
Yeah.
everything. Yeah. I've never ever thought about that, I'm not going to lie. I've never looked at it that way.
It's just a theory, man. But I mean, I just want the man to rest in peace. And I know he is, but I'm just personally tired of just seeing someone 23 years later still coming out with theories as to why he died and stuff. And I get he's a celebrity. I get he's a larger than life figure. He's basically a god. He's a mythical figure in rap. And that conversation is always going to be there. But it just gets to the point where it gets a bit like, give it a rest. Give it a rest. Stop using his death as a platform for you. That's probably the issue I have with it.
Yeah.
Use your own, get your own platform, get your own, work your own buzz, get your own buzz,
Yeah.
rather than trying to hang on the coattails of someone who's been dead for like 2 decades.
Because, a lot of you rappers will never be Tupac. You'll never be as big as Tupac. You'll never be as good as Tupac. So, yeah, just do your own thing. And I kind of felt that way when Meek had the tune Tupac's Back. I didn't like that, man. I thought it was a bit disrespectful.
Well,
I thought it was very distasteful. I just didn't like it.
I was watching the breakdown on Hip Hop
I even
DX,
forgot about- I even forgot
and
about
there was an episode where Murs, shout out to Murs, he did a breakdown of all the people who, after Tupac, compared themselves to Tupac. So there was Ja Rule, there was DMX, there was 50 Cent.
DMX did it?
Apparently he did.
Did he?
Just in his aesthetic and what he talked about.
Ja Rule definitely did it.
Ja Rule, Joey Badass,
What did Joey Badass
Troy
say?
Ave. He called himself the new Tupac.
Joey Badass?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Troy Ave did too. He said new Pac.
Yeah, he definitely called himself Tupac.
I saw that.
So
But he's a snitch.
there's definitely but there's that wanting to be, and I respect that. But you're not gonna get a buzz that way.
Are we ever going to have an artist as big as that again? I don't mean to cut you off, by the way.
It's Tupac.
Yeah.
Drake is going to be the closest.
But for completely different reasons.
I'll talk for the reasons Tupac was as big as he was.
Nah, probably not. Because I feel like a lot of these artists are a bit too fearful to do any of what Tupac did as far as the activism. So I just don't think they will.
I think
and they don't want to stop their bag.
And they saw the way he went out, I think, as well, plays a part.
I mean, the person who was anywhere near close to him is already gone. Nipsey.
Is that? That's a good shot, actually.
I don't even like that comparison. I understand what you're saying.
He called himself the Tupac of his generation.
He said it in a bar. It was a flexing thing, so I didn't really take it too seriously. But yeah, nah, man. Just
What's the difference
Allow
between-
the comparisons.
Why is
man.
it flexing when he says it?
What, Nipsey?
Yeah.
Because the bar was, I think it was on Blue Laces too.
It was.
Yeah. I just don't think Tupac. I don't think Nipsey really believes
But he was on Tupac.
he was probably doing like similar things to Tupac, so maybe of his generation, because nobody's really doing some of the things that Tupac was doing when he was living. Nipsey kind of was the closest as far as, activism in his community. So I just felt like it was like a bit of a flex, like, yo, man, like I'm in that ballpark. I'm not with you, man. So I saw it as a flex. I don't think Nipsey really felt like, I'm the walking embodiment of the new Tupac.
I think even in his interviews, you could tell he's more.
I think he's way too humble for that.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, of course, but he has certain qualities that you could compare.
Look at the way he went out.
No, not just that, just what he stood for, where he moved, what he did for the community, all that stuff.
But to answer your own question, that's why we will never leave Tupac alone, because we're constantly comparing artists to him as well. So to answer your own question.
Oh, shit.
So basically, it's not really possible for us to leave him
Nah, it's
alone.
not. Because he's too big. You're always, as a people, we're always trying to latch. Whenever we see artists, it's just comfortable for us to compare. It just makes us feel comfortable.
Makes sense.
Putting people in boxes, comparing, like we just can't help it.
I feel like we're the only genre that does that, really.
No, I don't think so.
Like, to the extent that we do.
I don't know about that, bro.
I wouldn't know because I don't listen to it.
I disagree with that, because even when you man are gonna get onto me, man. When D'Angelo dropped Voodoo, like a lot of them were. I know I mentioned every app, and I'm not even sorry. I won't lie to you, man. But
I'm not sorry.
when he dropped when he dropped Voodoo, from what I've read, a lot of people were like, making the comparisons between him and Prince. So I think we just can't help it. Even when when Jay-Z came out, I believe they were trying to compare him to Big Daddy Kane. Nas, they were trying to compare him to Rakim.
Yeah, but I'm saying in hip hop, I feel like we do that more than any other genre.
Okay, outside of hip hop.
Because you can say D'Angelo, new Prince, but who else is calling themselves, or who else is calling someone else the new Prince? Is Party Next Door the new Prince? But is Bryson Tiller the new Prince?
Is it because it's the most competitive?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
that's it.
So we want to be the best. You don't want to come and be like, I'm going to be the next.
Yeah, man, it's a different genre of music.
I'm saying.
That's why we talk like that. Like,
we come up taking someone else down.
Yeah, and like you said, we love saying someone. It's like a basketball reference, for example. Whenever you get someone right now, that's the next Michael.
Yeah, that's
the issue is. That's the next Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan ain't played basketball properly since 97. I know he came back for the Wizards, but that doesn't count. Michael ain't played basketball since.
Is it a black thing?
It's a black thing. It's a black thing. It's definitely a black thing.
I'm trying to think of a comparison within
certain sectors.
We compare everything with everything. If I tell you right now, Fresh Prince My African Kids was sick. First thing you say, it wasn't Fresh Prince.
Yeah, but in the art world, I don't think
you know what I mean?
I don't think Jean-Michel Basquiat was compared to like another black artist. I think they were comparing him to
himself.
My man. No? The blonde Donny.
What, on Andy Warhol?
Yeah.
I'm gonna sound so stupid right now.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna sound so stupid. Basquiat's black.
Yeah.
Basquiat's black.
So
Haitian.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it is a black thing. I don't know. It's tough.
Shout out to Jay-Z, fam.
It's a tough one. I don't know. I'm trying to think now, like even in the pop world, who's being compared to who?
Hearsay got compared to Josh.
No one, fam.
Anyway, but I think it is a black thing. I genuinely just feel like it's a black thing where we love to compare someone with someone. We can't help it.
And Tupac is part of that.
Yeah, like even last week when it was episode of Rich when I was talking about Arsenal, first thing you lot done was like, yo, he's
but no, hold on. Jimi Hendrix was compared to Eric Clapton, and Eric Clapton's white.
That's because he was the first of his kind, really. Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, but I feel like if Jimmy was white, they still would have compared him to Eric Clapton because Eric Clapton was like, he was rock's like Tupac. But at that time.
That's one in a few though.
That was John Lennon. For you.
Were the Rolling Stones compared to Beatles when they came out?
Probably, yeah.
So I don't know if it is just
but
I think we do it more.
Yeah, because you can name.
But they had their certain audiences, and probably there was definitely like interlinking between those audiences. But I'm not sure if there was a comparison thing as much as the hip hop thing. I think it was more so they're great too,
right?
Rather than
pitting them against each other.
We can't help it. We love that.
Yeah.
J. Cole gets pitted against Kendrick.
Obviously, I don't know. I wasn't around in the '60s, but yeah.
I feel like that's what it is. I feel like we love to pit two people head to head.
That's facts.
I mean, me too, man. I love a cheeky.
That's what makes it
comparison.
interesting. That's what makes it fun.
That's what the whole podcast is
I love a cheeky comparison. You know what I'm saying? But maybe we should stop. I don't
cheeky.
No.
We'll stop.
The reason why
episodes will be 10 minutes.
The reason why you can't stop as well is because this is what keeps it alive.
Yeah.
That's why we're the number one music right now.
Yeah.
Because of the competitiveness.
Yeah,
I want to fuck everyone. I want to be the best. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, even on tracks, like look at Pusha's last verse when he said he had Lil Wayne on the same song as him and tried to destroy him.
Yeah. That's a good point.
That's what makes it so revitalizing.
100%.
I don't know if I used that word in the right context, but there you go.
You did, bro.
Well done. That's that journalism degree right there. Like, ladies and gentlemen, that's that Middlesex University. Shout out to Hendon.
Middlesex. Well, okay then, fine. We won't ever really stop talking about Tupac, which is probably a good thing in the grand scheme of things because it means that we keep his memory going. I just wish that people just put a sock in it when it comes to
the conspiracies.